So today I'm going to be doing a psychoactive drug history questionnaire with you, and I'm just going to go ask you a series of drugs that you could have possibly used throughout your history. And we're going to start off with in the past 12 months. So in the past 12 months, have you used alcohol?
Yes.
In the past 12 months, have you used cocaine or crack?
Yes.
In the past 12 months, have you used amphetamines or other stimulants?
No.
In the past 12 months, have you used cannabis, also known as hash, weed, grass, pot, or marijuana?
Yes.
In the past 12 months, have you used benzodiazepines?
Used Xanax, but not in the last 12 months.
In the last 12 months, have you used barbiturates?
No.
In the last 12 months, have you used heroin or opium?
No.
In the last 12 months, have you used prescription opioids?
Percocets, but in high school.
And then, in the last 12 months, have you used over-the-counter codeine prescriptions?
No.
In the past 12 months, have you used hallucinogens?
Yes.
In the past 12 months, have you used glue or other inhalants?
No.
In the past 12 months, have you used tobacco?
Yes.
And in the past 12 months, has there been any other psychoactive drugs that you've used?
No.
Okay. So, you mentioned that you have used alcohol in the past 12 months. So, if you'd like to pull up the calendar, and we're going to go back 90 days, which would be around the beginning of April, like April 2nd. In the 90 days, what would you say the number of days used in the past 90 days of alcohol?
Oh, that's tough to figure out. I guess I drink beer a couple times a week, maybe 3 days a week. So I think if I look at a calendar, there are a couple weeks in there that it's only twice, but I think probably 40 of the 90 days I did drink.
How long since the last time you've used alcohol?
Last night I had a few beers at home.
What would you say a typical amount on each day and that you've used in the last 90 days?
Usually around 5 beers, whatever's cheapest.
Okay. And do you remember when you first started drinking alcohol?
I guess I started drinking about 18 with the guys from school. I used to drink more, but I used to get really drunk at parties, but I don't really anymore.
Okay. So you'd say that there has been some periods of abstinence in there, and
Yes.
you've definitely lessened since you were in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in the past 12 months, you said that you've used cocaine or crack. What would you say your number of days used in the past 90 days?
I actually haven't used it in the past 3 months.
Okay. How long since last drug use?
It was probably about 6 months ago at a party. I don't use cocaine often, but I have a few friends who have good contact, but I still feel like it's a bit risky these days.
What would you say your typical amount on each day of use in the last 90 days would be?
I probably only used it a couple times in the last few years, never got into it.
And how old would you say you started at when your first usage would be?
Like 18.
Also around 18, okay. And so you've not gone into it, so there's been periods of abstinence and you've had very little pattern of usage with it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then in the past 12 months, you said that you've used cannabis. In the past 90 days, what would you say the number of days used would be?
I smoke weed most days when I'm gaming or before bed. I think it's hard to sleep without it. In the last 90 days, I've probably used it about 85 of them.
How long since your last use of cannabis?
Yesterday.
What would you say your typical amount on each day of use in the last 90 days would be?
I use a bong or edibles, probably a few hits on the bong or one gummy each time. I don't pay too much attention to the THC amounts.
Do you remember your first, when you first started using, like what age you used?
I tried it in high school, but didn't really start getting into it on a regular basis until college. I honestly didn't realize it would become such a big part of my life.
Have there been any periods of absence in there, or where you haven't used it for like a certain periods of time?
No.
Okay. You said yes to using benzodiazepines, but not in the last 12 months, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then same with prescription opioids. You said that you've used them, but not in the past 12 months. And then in the past 12 months, you said that you've used hallucinogens. What would you say the number of days used in the past 90 days would be?
I think just 2. My girlfriend used to get them a couple of times. Sometimes I didn't like how they made me feel. The last time it just made me feel kind of moody.
How long since your last drug use of hallucinogens?
A couple of days ago.
What would you say your typical amount on each day of use in the last 90 days would be for hallucinogens?
I don't have a typical use, but I guess we usually share about 3 grams between us.
And then in the last 12 months, you said yes to using tobacco. In the past 90 days, what would you say the number of days used would be?
I mix tobacco and weed sometimes for poppers, but I find it kind of rougher on my throat. I would say I have had tobacco maybe 10 times in the last 90 days.
Okay. How long since your last usage of tobacco?
A few weeks ago, I think maybe 3.
Okay. What would you say a typical amount on each day of in the last 90 days would be of tobacco?
My friends have loose tobacco and sometimes mixes it with his weed. I don't really know how much. Do you remember when you first started using tobacco? I smoked cigarettes and vaped nicotine a bit when I was younger, but not on a regular way in about 5 years.
And you said you haven't really used it frequently in the last 5 years, correct? And that is everything. Thank you, Mark.